Hi and welcome along to AFTV News Daily. I hope you guys have been having a great day. It is of course a bank holiday today. You wouldn't know it. Normally on a bank holiday, everybody would be out and stuff like that, but we're still under this lockdown. But we are here, and hopefully everybody's here in a good mood, in good health. And I've got a very special guest with me tonight. I've got Sophie Rose. How you doing?
Hi, Sophie. Guys, can you see me?
We can see you. We can see you. How you doing?
Hello, I'm good, Robbie. How are you?
Yeah, I'm great. Sophie Rose, of course, from CFC TV, the Chelsea channel. We always banter back and forth when the football season is on. Sophie, what have you been up to in this lockdown?
You know what? Not a lot. All I can say, Robbie, is my hair is a mess. I've got no nails. It's a bit depressing, but I actually have followed the advice, unlike some people, which I think obviously everybody should have been doing. And I'm always at work, so for me just to be sort of just stuck inside is a little bit weird. But it'd be nice to see family and things like that, so that's one plus side. But I think maybe 9 weeks is a little bit too long now. It's time to sort of open things back up gradually, isn't it?
You get to that hair salon, right?
Robbie, come on now. Everyone's like, my God, she's gone downhill.
No. Listen, this is the lockdown thing, man. I was saying on my show yesterday, right, that I don't think I've been out of shorts since this whole thing's begun. You know what I mean? Every day shorts.
I don't think I have. I know I've been doing some running stuff, but everybody's getting dressed up just to stay inside. I'm there like, why would you do that? It's pointless.
But how you been finding it? Obviously, no football. Only the sort of Bundesliga stuff that they've been showing on TV, but no football for all this time as well.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I don't mind watching sort of foreign football leagues, but they don't have the same energy as the Premier League, do they? I do think that the Premier League is the best league in the world, so not having it, I don't think there is really a comparison. It was nice to have some football back. I think even just like for the normality of it all, it sort of starts to feel like things are getting back to normal. But I think I do want the Premier League to come back. I do want the season to finish. I think it's only fair on Liverpool, and I think that's horrible to say as Chelsea fans and as Arsenal fans, but I'm sure if that was us and we'd played as well as they have, we would want the season to try and resume any way possible. But do I think fans will be allowed back? No, not at all. And I also don't think it would be safe. You're not talking about a few hundred people, you're talking about thousands of people minimum. I don't know what the lowest attendance is in what stadium, but Chelsea's 45, 50 nearly. Arsenal obviously a lot more because you've got a bigger stadium, but I can't see how that would be safe. Well, I'm not trying to big you up here. I'm just stating the statistics, the facts.
Bigger team, Sophie, bigger team. That's why it's a bigger stadium.
No, we can get into that. Didn't say bigger team. I said you had a bigger house. That's all. Okay, it's different. But yeah, I'm excited for it to come back. I hope it comes back soon.
Yeah, and of course this coronavirus thing has been ravaging everywhere, and this guy here, Andrew Chow, with an early comment here, Andrew says, Sophie, thoughts on the potential that Kante may miss the rest of the season with Arsenal United gathering momentum. Are you concerned too about the top four? Because of course N'Golo Kante is one of those players who said he's not coming back here, he's not gone back to training. He said he's still pretty frightened by the whole thing.
Which I think is sensible. Didn't was it Danny Rose? Also, he went on like a live sort of rant feed, not rant, but he was a bit there like, what are we doing? And I totally get it, because for them, they are playing like a high contact sport. Obviously, I mean, there's no way to even social distance yourself in a match. What are you going to do? Just pass it from 2 meters apart? Yeah. So I understand why he would be worried, and obviously a lot of footballers did contract the virus, but no, I would be worried. Obviously he's one of our best players, but then again this season he hasn't really been available for a lot of it. He has actually had a few injuries, and that's something that we're not really used to, and I think Frank does have loads of options in the midfield. He's even brought in really young players like Billy Gilmore into the mix, which I think obviously means you can move around. So I'm a bit disheartened by it, but I completely understand, and it's his choice. I mean, if that was me, it's your health first, isn't it? And if he's worried, or you don't know what underlying health issues he has. So
yeah, and of course, the news today that the women's game That's it. The
Yeah.
league won. Me and Pippa were talking about it on Saturday, the possibility of that happening. They announced it today that the women's football is not going to continue this season. That's a big blow for them because the women's football has just been on a bit of momentum recently as well, hasn't it?
Yeah, I think more people are getting into it. I know you do a lot of coverage, don't you, with Pippa? I think, do you know what? This is going to sound really horrible, but the fact of the matter is, I think if they were to sort of try and resume, that would sort of create a really different timeline for next season, as well as the Premier League, for instance. The amount of money that would be lost if they didn't resume this season would be like second to none. So I think a lot of this does come down to money and time and effort. And obviously they're going to prioritize whatever, brings in the most money. That is how it is. And that's sad to say, but that's the thing. I think why they've cancelled the Women's League. I think they would rather just start next season fresh if they could do, rather than going to all the hassle to try and rearrange those games. It's just not as popular. And I think that's just my opinion. I could be completely wrong, but I think if they were talking about losing, I don't know, 300 million, whatever it is, it'd be a different story,
Yeah, no, you're right there. You're right. And of course, the plan is to resume the season here. They're talking about June the 12th or the 20th, or even maybe there's been suggestions today it could be at the end of June. But the plan is definitely to get the season finished. When the break occurred, Chelsea were, what you guys, 4th place?
Yeah, we weren't doing too well, to be fair. Well, we'd won against Liverpool, not in the Premier League, but we were gaining a bit of momentum. I think our next game, I think it was Leicester, or was it a European match? I can't remember now. It's going that far back, but we weren't really doing too well in the Premier League. But I do think we could have won a trophy eventually this season. I think Frank, and especially the turning point for me is when we won against Tottenham at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. I still call it White Hart Lane for some reason, but but that was for me, and we haven't won that derby. I mean, my first time at White Hart Lane, because I just moved to London then, was the 4-2 years ago when Gary Cahill scored the volley, and that was the last time we won. Every other game I've been to, we'd lost. So for Frank to get that momentum out of the team made me think, okay, we really can win a trophy this season, even if we're not, as strong as other teams. Yeah, it's just very weird. I think it's important for it to resume now. I mean, I actually voted against it starting when all this is going on, because I think you see every day more people, you're talking about, you're not talking about 100 people dying, it's 800 people, 900 people. So for me, I just thought, well, this is never going to get better. But social distancing seems to have worked. So I just don't want everyone to rush back, it all to go back, and then there'd be a second wave and we all have to go back in again,
Yeah, no, we definitely don't want that, man, because I want to get out now. Seriously.
Yeah, we all do. But I actually, as a presenter, as a reporter, not a journalist, but like a reporter type thing. I actually love watching the games on screen, because I actually can see what's going on. I think as a presenter, I love watching it on screen. As a fan, I love obviously going to the games. But I think you always get a more logical sort of view of the game when you watch it on TV. So it'd actually be quite fun for me to do some watch-alongs and things if it was behind closed doors. What do you think?
Yeah, well, no, I want to be there, man. But obviously we're not going to be there, and we're just going to have to take what we got. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We won't be able to be at the games. When do you reckon? Because I think it's going to turn to that once we get the game started back and it's behind closed doors. When can you see fans coming back again?
If I'm being honest, I don't see it till next January.
Jeez.
That's just because of the thing is with this virus, you've got to remember, even if people don't think it's that serious. I mean, I know some people have had no symptoms. I've had other people that say it's like the worst feeling ever. It only takes one person to go out there, and imagine you're in a stadium, you're just one person, but you're spreading it to 40,000 other people. That's a bit different to, going into a bar with a couple hundred people, or going to the supermarket with, a few people. So I think it all depends what happens when we start going back to normal in the next coming months. If by September things are still improving, then fine, maybe. But if obviously people are still getting sick, I don't really see how that would be sensible, if that makes sense.
Yeah. There's a comment again that's coming in. Robbie, Boris just announced, and you were saying to me off air just before we came on, just announced that non-essential retail shops can reopen on the 15th of June, providing it's safe. Surely the Premier League has to return. Players will be tested. And of course, the fact is that the players are going to be getting tested twice a week. So if retail's returning, you know.
Yeah, no, I think it will. I think it will. I think it will go back, and he's trying to get people back to work, and that's obviously the main thing. Everybody needs to go back to work to earn some money and make sure their businesses don't go completely tits up. But I do think you will see a few footballers contract the virus because they're traveling. Like I said, it's a really close contact sport, so it's inevitable that some people are going to get the virus. It's just how they want to handle it, I suppose. I mean, it's really hard to say because we haven't really tested all going back out into the public, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Definitely.
So I'm just not sure. Yeah.
Loads of comments coming in. This guy says Sophie loves Liverpool. He's a Liverpool fan, of course, you can see.
I definitely don't, darling. I was just trying to be non-biased earlier.
I need to ask you about this, Sophie, because it's one of your players right now. NJ Lucky says Hudson-Odoi is now worthless. Now, the Hudson-Odoi thing.
Yeah.
And he hasn't been and obviously everybody's guilty. Sorry, everybody's innocent until proven guilty. Right?
Everyone's guilty until proven innocent, yeah.
I mean, with the press, everybody's guilty until proven innocent, but everybody's innocent until proven guilty. I don't want to touch on the whole facts around it. But the thing is, again, another footballer that's broken the lockdown rules. And this could have serious consequences for him, couldn't it?
Yeah. I mean, if you want my honest opinion, and I think I've really got no time for it. I think there are some things that, some criticism that footballers get because of how much money they earn, they are just prematurely judged. And for that, I think it's wrong. But in this type of situation, he's completely got himself into it. I mean, it's ridiculous. And I mean, nobody knows what's gone on. And of course, there are many people that are falsely accused all the time. I know people that they've, have had it done to, and it's a horrible, horrible thing. And especially because they they earn what they do and whatever, they're prime targets. And but I think a lot of it is, I mean, he's very young. It's who mentors you and in life and things like that. You shouldn't be having people around in lockdown. I think if anything, even if it is fine, even if you're both completely, that you're tested and you're negative and that's all fine. I just think it's really disrespectful to people that are all following the rules and staying in and staying away from their families. So I don't really have any sympathy from him there. If you do invite girls around at that time of night, what's gonna that sort of thing happens because you're prime targets, and you've got to learn to. I think a lot of it is just the way you treat people in general, and just growing up a little bit. I think so. I don't really have any time for all this, footballer behaviour. I'm bored of it now, to be honest. So,
I mean, before the whole shutdown of football, as I said, you guys were in 4th place. We were in 9th place. I fancied us though for a run on that top 4. We were on a bit of form. We hadn't lost a game this year. You said Chelsea's form has been very shaky this season.
Up and down.
Were you confident that you get it? I mean, not even that you would. It's going to start back. So are you confident that Chelsea can get into that top 4 this season? Because that's all we're playing for, because Liverpool in the league once it starts back.
Yeah. No, I'm not confident. I mean, we were so up and down. We had quite a few injuries throughout the season. Obviously, we didn't make any signings in January, and I think for Frank, although nobody comes out and says these things, I'm sure Frank was thinking, like, you should have at least got me, somebody to help. Somebody's got a bit of experience. So I don't think the board didn't want to make panic buys. They still could have helped us out a little bit there. But as usual, we're too slow. We just, refuse to do so. So he's been left with sort of the answers in a while. So I think, they've really come through, like Billy Gilmore. He's been, great. We do have quality players. I do think to win, trophies and to get the top 4 spot, you have to be really consistent, and we haven't really been. So I think we could do it, but I'm not confident. I'm not going to say I'm really confident too. And also, we don't really know what they've been doing now for the last 8 weeks, how their fitness is,
That's going to play a major part. The fitness definitely is going to play a major part. Loads of questions coming in, as I said. Gabriel says, hello, Sophie. What's your opinion on talks on Willian and the Arsenal link? Now,
well, the other day it was Willian to Tottenham because he loved Jose. Now it's Willian to Arsenal. I mean, he really needs to make up his mind which part of London he wants to go to.
No, I don't want him. I don't want him.
I did a video on this on Blues Fans TV, and I said I don't think Willian gets a lot of stick because he can be quite inconsistent. But I think he's been a very good servant to Chelsea Football Club. I do think his time is now sort of coming to an end, especially with what if they're going to keep Frank in charge. You know, he'll be wanting to build into a slightly different team and obviously get players in that are playing good games on a weekly basis. If he did, I'm not sure. I mean, I'm not sure if he went to Arsenal. I'm sure fans wouldn't be happy about it. But, you know, the reason for me that players go to Arsenal, they want to remain in London. And you're just up the road, you know. But if he did go to Tottenham, there would be no...
We're going to be getting the leftovers, isn't it? He's not the same Willian.
Well, we already did it to you with Czech. We did it to you with David Luiz. And I remember saying to Lee Judges at the time, I was like, laughing.
I don't want no more Chelsea leftovers. I don't want no more. You know, if we're going to take someone from Chelsea, we'll take someone in. I'll take Reece James or somebody like that. You know what I mean? A young player.
Of course. You should be taking the youngsters. You do tend to take players that have been, you know, like I said, Willian's been, you know, good. He's scored some good goals. He's played some very, you know, there's many times when he's been man of the match for us. But I do think his time's sort of gone on now. But if he were to go to Tottenham, any good that he'd done at Chelsea would be completely, you know, wiped out. I mean, I think that's the same for any player that plays for Arsenal when they go to Tottenham. It's ridiculous.
100%. Bennett says, Robbie, you said Cesc Fabregas was the best talent to emerge from Arsenal's academy. Was he honestly better than David Rocastle? No, he wasn't. When I was asked that question this morning, I was sort of more talking about players in recent times. So in recent times, I say Cesc was the best. Again, a player who ended up at Chelsea. Listen, we've been asking the question: is London
red? You've got to sort it out, Robbie.
Huh?
You've got to sort it out.
Is London red or blue?
Policy.
Huh?
Have a better transfer policy.
Yeah, I know. We're trying to improve it now, and we have got we are bringing in some better players. But is London red or blue?
Blue.
Red.
I do believe it's blue.
No,
you can't say that over the last I don't know how many years we've won too many trophies, too many Premier League titles, too many FA Cups.
You're still behind us though on Premier. The only thing you've got over us, right? The one thing you've got over us, obviously, that Champions League win, right?
Well, that's a pretty big do-over.
Yeah, and you know, you spent a lot of money to get that, but you know, you've got that over us. But I still think history. We've won more league titles than you. We've won more FA Cups than you.
And that might be true, but I'm just saying you can't dwell on the past. That's like saying, imagine Frank Lampard in his prime was brilliant, and then for the next 10 years he played for Chelsea and he was dreadful. Makes no difference.
I still say
that's my theory. It's my theory, Robbie.
And at the moment, I'd say there's not a lot in it, is there? At the moment, the two teams, there's not a lot this season. I don't think there's been a lot in. You could see from the two games because the two games were close. Obviously, you beat us at the Emirates, which was a very controversial game because I think one of your players should definitely have been sent off. I think even you would admit that.
Was that the time I was drunk?
Come on, Jorginho should have been sent off in that game.
Oh, and it would have been I was so drunk. I had no idea. Right? Can you not tell? I look back at that interview the next day on Arsenal Fan TV and I was there like...
Yeah, you were drunk because you got away with it. Yeah, I mean, you were so happy. That's why you were drunk.
Well, I was happy because normally when I go to the Emirates, we lose, or it's a draw, or it's just boring. So I was quite buzzing that day, obviously.
This comment here, this guy Mandingo Ward says Arsenal 46 trophies versus Chelsea's 31 trophies. Case closed. P.S. Sophie is still looking as beautiful as ever. And Eid Mubarak. How comes I don't get them people?
Oh, thank you. I can't believe that. Look at the nails, but thanks.
But yeah, listen. In modern, so how I break it down is in recent times. Obviously, Chelsea are a much more successful club than Arsenal. Recent times, right?
Yeah.
But I'd still say Arsenal are the bigger club. I still think Arsenal's a bigger worldwide brand. I think there's a lot of things we need to step up, a lot of things we need to improve. I still think we've got a bigger worldwide fan base than Chelsea. Chelsea are catching up, but
yeah, I mean,
you're not feeling that.
No, not really. No, I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, you have got a really, really good fan base, and I'll always say, you know, my granddad was Arsenal, so I don't really hate Arsenal Football Club. Do I want you to win when you play against Chelsea? Absolutely not. But my beef has always been with, you know, the other side of North London, which is Tottenham. But I think you've been a very successful club. You've had many players. I mean, I used to really like Thierry Henry when he played for you. I don't really know too many of your players, but back along, you know, he was one of the players I watched when I was younger. So I don't really hate Arsenal. I think the problem with Arsenal is you've got the potential to be a big club. And don't take this the wrong way, but a lot of when Arsene Wenger was there before he left, and I suppose still a bit now, a lot of players knew if they signed for Arsenal, and this is not the fans' fault. This is the board and the people above that do this. They knew they only had to play well and sort of get top 4, top 6, and they'd get paid a really good, decent wage to get to live in a great city, and that was it. And that's what attracted them to Arsenal. Do you know what I mean? So that you sort of just halted. If you actually really went and you had players that really wanted to win trophies, you'd be flying ahead, but you'd obviously have to break the bank for that. And I think you've obviously not been. Yeah.
To be fair, you make a good point with that. The winning mentality hasn't been there over the past few years. But I think at the moment, going over the 2 games that we played this season, there wasn't a lot in it. The game at the Emirates was really close. The game at Stamford Bridge when we went down to 10 men, and we got the draw there, that was very close. You know what I mean? And looking at the 2 teams in that game, I thought, there's not a lot in it. Obviously, you guys have got a lot of young players playing because you had that transfer ban. Does that mean, do you think that this summer, despite all the coronavirus stuff, that Chelsea will spend a lot of money? Or do you think that it's going to have a big effect on Chelsea as well? Because the Abramovich seems to be spending a little less these days. He's not.
Yeah, I don't think he's obviously that whole thing happened with whether he could, be with the visa. I'm not really sure. I actually don't even know what happened there. And obviously the stadium plans and things. I'm sure there's a lot behind the scenes that we don't know. No, I think Chelsea have always been, a winning club. Frank's, it's hard to say because Frank was brought in at a time we really didn't have any other option sort of thing because we couldn't sign anyone. And the only person that would actually get anything out of players would be somebody like Frank. He's a former player. He knows how they think. He knows how to keep a good relationship with them. So I think that's all really important. But in terms of breaking the bank, I'm sure Chelsea, players that come to Chelsea know they have to really, impress instantly or they're gone. But obviously this has all really messed things up, so I don't really think we're going to be able to tell until we have a full season, of seeing actually Frank in a full season start to finish without any pandemics, without any transfer bans. So
Triple E says, appreciate what you do, Sophie, but more trophies, bigger fan base, better history. London is red. Also, if the Premier League resumes, Chelsea won't get top
Triple
4.
E, that's a little bit harsh, isn't it? God, throw a dog a bone.
And Sam the man simply says, London is Gnabry.
What does Gnabry mean?
Gnabry, who put the hat-trick pass you lot to knock you lot out of the... Hold on, no, he wasn't Chelsea. Oh, yeah, he did score against Chelsea, wasn't it? He scored against Tottenham.
When was this? How many years ago was this?
No, this season in the Champions League when you lot got knocked out. That was Gnabry, who used to play for Arsenal against Bayern Munich. That was Gnabry. Wow. That's what he said.
Yeah, I wasn't paying attention to that, Robbie.
Yeah, I didn't think you would be paying attention to that. Ben Cookie says, Robbie, do you think Arsenal will spend money given the wage cut? Sophie, should Kepa be sold given his high price tag and inconsistent performances? Me first, I think Arsenal, it's been well documented. This transfer window is going to be a lot of loan and swap deals. I can't see us spending any big money unless we were to sell a couple of players. Sophie, Kepa, should he be sold?
Kepa's displayed a lot of bad traits. Also, I don't think he's been praised enough when he's had his very good games. I think we bought him as an investment. I don't know what went on behind the scenes there. He was highly overpriced, obviously, but normally Chelsea like to keep a long-term goalkeeper, as many clubs do. So I think that was a bit of a gamble and it's not paid off as such. I'm not sure if he's a favourite with Frank and Jody and the rest of the team, the rest of the staff. Has he lived up to his tag? No, he had that whole thing with Sorry at Wembley when he refused to come off. And even though I knew I understood what Kepa was saying, if you have to go off, you have to go off, deal with it later. So he's displayed a lot of bad behaviour. I don't know. I suppose that would be behaviour, whatever. So I think if Chelsea, I don't think he should be sold, but I think if Chelsea had the chance to get a better keeper, or they thought was a better keeper, they would do it.
Okay. Amory says the one thing I'm envious of United and Chelsea is that they still win major Champions League and Premier League trophies, and even when they're underperforming, we've only been winning the FA Cup. And Donny says until the Champions League is won, Chelsea will always have that over you. Arsenal are a bigger club, but that is a big thing. Yeah, obviously, that champion, that still hurts to this day that you got one.
Arsenal are a bigger club.
And obviously, a Chelsea fan here. He says, Sophie, how does it feel to be the only team in London to win the Champions League? He's obviously a Chelsea fan.
It's wonderful. Ashley feels brilliant, and I was there. It's a crazy day actually. So when we went, my dad had been obviously a Chelsea fan since he was a kid, and he took me over, and we only had one ticket, and he gave it to me. Wow. I was a bit younger then. How many years ago was this? 2012, a long time ago. So, and he said, he goes, so you can have a ticket. And then about 4 o'clock, my dad was really trying hard to find a ticket all day. And 4 o'clock, his friends rang him and said, I've got a ticket. And he went in and I went in and we both got to go in. So, and I think if you ask anybody, the tickets were sort of unheard of then. So he was really lucky. But it was a great day. And I think it is very important. I think when you do win it, you will, it's not even just the trophy, it's the struggle to get the trophy, if that makes sense, that makes it so special. It's
almost like everything has to fall into place, because I remember being at the final of the Champions League when Arsenal got there, and obviously it was heartbreaking when we got beat. We lost to Barcelona 2-1, and it was the same thing. I could have sold my ticket for like 1,000, 1,500. Yeah. I was like, no chance. I've got to see this.
No way.
Like, to win the Champions League, it's like everything that has to fall into place that season. That's why I thought, you know what, I was thinking Tottenham might win it last year, because they were getting all the luck in the world and it was looking like everything was just falling into place for them.
Yeah, no, totally. Like, if you look back at all those games, I went to most of those games leading up to. I went to Napoli away. Then obviously Di Matteo took charge. We played Napoli at home. When we won that game, I was right behind the shed end, and I was like, oh my god, wow, this was one of my most incredible games I've ever been to. And then when we went to Barcelona, and then that game in itself should have realistically told us we're going to win it, but you just never know. But it's written in the stars now when you look back at those games. But obviously at the time you don't know it, which is a great thing as well.
Yeah. Andrew says London's blue ever since the Champions League win, and once Kroenke is in charge of Arsenal. We keep getting left behind. And he says, stop underestimating Chelsea's fan base worldwide. You do know Chelsea have more social media followers on every platform than Arsenal. That's not, no.
Do they?
I don't think that's right.
I mean, I know Chelsea have a huge following on Instagram and Twitter. I know that.
I don't know if they've got more. I'd have to check that. But
yeah, I'd have to check that. I've never actually really paid attention.
Yeah, I always thought, I'm not sure. I'll have to double check that. I'll take your word for it now, mate. But
yeah. But I want to make a special mention there, though, that I do actually, I don't know if I was with it, but Chelsea have made a really good effort during this lockdown. With social media, they posted players back home, even when the league was going on. I felt like since Frankfurt, they've really actually been posting some stuff that actually gets us to see what the players are actually like as people, if that makes sense, which I think is quite cool. Makes it seem more relatable to us.
Sophie, could you? This guy Daniel says, could you arrange dinner between Abramovich and Kroenke? He could teach him a thing or two. As you can see, there's not a lot of confidence in our owner and him spending money. And Lord's official says, yo, Robbie, please tell Sophie to stop going for Aubameyang. Now, of course, that's another Arsenal player that Chelsea have been linked to. Do you think Do you think those are fake rumours, Chelsea being linked with?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, in all honesty, I think a lot of this, and why you don't understand why some players go to certain teams, a lot of it is just the agents and who makes the better deal. So when your team signs a player and you're there like, who the hell is that? Why have we sold that? It's how good the talk is from the agent. and they all, somehow it happens, which is annoying. So, in terms of that sort of lost respect for football, I wish it was. Yeah, we've got a really good play. There's a lot of there's too many ticks in it these days. So I don't really believe that the Aubameyang there's any truth to it. I think a lot of people pick things up for the lines, or they may even take one tiny thing and blow it completely out of proportion.
Yeah, it happens regularly. This guy says scores between us this season were close, but the performance was not. Chelsea absolutely dominated us at home. Did they? What are you talking about? And away. Did they?
Wouldn't say that.
Besides the first 10 at the Emirates, I thought at the Emirates, first half we played really well, and then towards the end of the half, we saw Chelsea growing into it, and then second half Chelsea did play really well, and then it was a similar story in the first game. Obviously, you guys, we got David Luiz got himself sent off very stupidly. It was a lot of it was a different type of game. Arsenal just had to play that game on the counter. I don't think there was a lot between the teams. I really don't. At this moment in time, are Chelsea going to spend a lot? I mean, you've already bought Ziyech. You think Chelsea are going to, because you had a transfer ban, like you said, you didn't buy no players. You bought in Ziyech, who's coming in at the end of the season. Do you think they're going to go big in the summer?
Yeah, I think they have to. I mean, obviously, it depends. I think if they were to announce, obviously, that football's properly back, and obviously, I think they would. I think they would if they have a better idea by August. I do think they'll have to postpone the league coming back next season till sort of 1st of September, middle of September, if they're going to have any, because otherwise that's impossible. You're going to ask the players to come back, try and finish this season. They're not even going to have, a proper rest, if that makes sense. Fine, this is a rest, but I mean, mental health wise, this isn't really a rest, is it? It's sort of you're in lockdown. It's not really any free time. But yeah, I think they will break the bank. I think Chelsea need to, because there's only so far that a group of youngsters can take you, if that makes sense. So, and I think for Frank as well, for us to see what he's even like as a proper manager, yeah, we've seen what he can do with the youngsters and how he can make a team that's pretty average and tired, win games that maybe we shouldn't have. But we've also dropped a lot of points this season we shouldn't against ridiculous teams. So I think they do need to bring in 2 or 3 other players for sure. The left back, another striker, 100%. Tammy was great at the start of the season, and then him being our only sort of person up front, he sort of started to slide off before obviously the season got suspended. So definitely need a few players in there.
Okay, Nathan Antonio says Chelsea have more followers on Instagram. Arsenal have more on Twitter, apparently. Okay, I'm gonna have to check that. Alexander, hello, Robbie and Sophie. Thoughts on Coutinho moving to Arsenal or Chelsea? Sophie, do you think? And is another question for you. Do you think John Terry is going to coach Chelsea in the future? He's assistant coach at Aston Villa, and London is red. The Coutinho thing's interesting because he's been very heavily linked with Chelsea, also very heavily linked with Arsenal. Would Chelsea need Coutinho?
I don't know if we need him. I mean, I think he's a great player, obviously. I thought he was very good when he was at Liverpool. Where's he now? Bayern Munich?
Bayern Munich on loan,
Yeah, just making sure I've got that right. And I'm pretty sure, wasn't he on the bench when he played against Chelsea? At Stamford Bridge? Yeah. I mean, that just shows how good Bayern Munich are. They have to have a player like Coutinho on the bench. But I think we need him. I mean, no, I think it would be good to have him. I don't think he's needed. I've never even thought of it really. I'm assuming that's because he wants to come back to the Premier League.
Yeah, I mean, the rumors that are floating around that it's either it's either going to be us or you, where he seems to be the 2 favourites to sign him. Looking at Chelsea, your midfield's quite strong though, isn't it? I'm not too sure if you need him as much as what we.
I mean, our midfield is strong, but it's also very shaky. Like we've rotated it quite a lot. We've had Ross Barkley in there, we've had Jorginho, we've had Kovacic, we've got Kante, we've got Billy Gilmore now. We've mixed it around, and Frank has changed formation a little bit too. So we've mixed it around quite a lot. But I would love to have, a couple of really experienced players like Coutinho, and especially the thing that would attract me about Coutinho is that he has played in the Premier League before. I think there are so many players that come from different leagues and come to Chelsea or other top clubs, and they really struggle, especially at Chelsea, because, you know, it's a completely different club. If you don't impress, that's the same for a manager as well at Chelsea. If you don't impress very quickly, you know, you're gone. I mean, the only player I can think of at Chelsea that's actually been given time when there's been, you know, no this, you know, this is taken out of the transfer ban this season, out of context, but was Ramirez. So when he first came to Chelsea, it took him a while. Even I was thinking, oh God, this is taking a while. And I was actually gutted when we sold him, because he was a brilliant, very underrated Chelsea player for Chelsea. So yeah, he's the only one I can think of. Everybody else sort of had their couple of games, and that's it, really.
Donny says Man United is bigger than both clubs. And by the way, Robbie, treble invincible. Go away. You
know what? I'll say, you know, for Man United, I've got respect for them because of just, I mean, probably when Alex Ferguson was there and what have they been able to achieve. But you know, you're not better club.
Pieface says he's a Chelsea fan. He says we still got the 90 million for Hazard and 50 million for Morata money in. That's it, Chelsea, because of that ban. You should be in a really good you should be in a really good position at the end of this.
Totally, and I agree. But the only thing that worries me a little bit is we've made some really pointless signings over the year. I mean, I'd say more than Arsenal. I mean, if you look back at ours, we had, and it's not saying they're not good players, they're just not suited for Chelsea. There was Papi Dillabodji. There was, I think it was called Pacho, maybe. I can't remember. Danny Drinkwater didn't even play for us.
Danny Drinkwater, what is he on, man?
So, I mean, you say that, and then we just don't really go in. The thing is with Chelsea, we've got no get up and go. You know, we need to sign. If we can sign, we've got the money to sign a big player. For some reason, they're hesitant. I don't know.
Emirates or Stamford Bridge? It says
Stamford Bridge. Emirates is too cold. It's freezing up there.
Freezing.
It's so cold. It's like a big wind tunnel. I'm always like this doing my interviews. Like, what did you think? They're like, yeah, right. I'm like, yeah, next person.
Bigger stadium. Anthony says Chelsea had Salah. Didn't do it, but has done it at Liverpool. Coutinho done it at Liverpool, but would he do it at Chelsea?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, you know the thing with Salah when he was at Chelsea, because I think we went to play. I want to get this right. I don't know if it was Brentford, but it was one of those teams somewhere along those lines. And Salah made one of the worst shots he probably made ever in his career. And I think, was Mourinho there at the time? You could tell Salah had no confidence, that the manager didn't believe in him. And for me, it's, with players, all about confidence. You know, with Barcelona, for instance, and this is a very, I'm going off topic here, but this is a really unpopular opinion of mine. But my thoughts are, if they actually played in the Premier League season after season, they wouldn't win it every season, because they'd have competition every single week. They wouldn't win every game. It only takes you to lose that one game for your mentality to go, and that's it. In their league, I mean, I could play in that league. My nan could play in that league, and my confidence would be sky high, and I'd win every trophy. It's not hard. They're a brilliant team. I'm just saying, if you're in the Premier League, it's different. So I think Coutinho would be good for Chelsea because he's got the Premier League experience already. When you're talking about Salah, did he play for a Premier League team before he came to Chelsea?
No, he was at Chelsea, and then Chelsea got rid of him, didn't they?
Yeah, and then he went on to be better, and he had a manager that believed in him. Fine. This is a bit different, I think. You've
got rid of, I mean, also De Bruyne, the two best players probably in the Premier League right now.
Yeah, but you don't understand though. When we were watching these players at Chelsea, they weren't good. De Bruyne was all right. He didn't really ever seem like he wanted to play. He wanted to go. He said he wanted to go.
But was that because he was never given a chance? Is that one of the problems at Chelsea, is that they sort of just bring in, I mean, you've got so many players. You've got about 100 players out on loan, you know?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it, I think is down to the manager. The managers we have, and they're under such pressure. You know, Arsenal, for instance, they're going to give the manager time. Look what they did with Arsene Wenger. You know, when he did his, he had his amazing years, and then that was it, and you still kept with him. So I think the managers are under so much pressure. It's play well or don't get picked, as well as I think at other clubs, you may have a manager that's got a bit more compassion. I don't know. I honestly don't know.
Shrey says, Robbie and Sophie, who's had the better season, Martinelli or Mount? Chelsea are linked to a lot of attacking players, and you have an average defence. Do you want to become the new Arsenal? And he's put hashtag London is red. I don't know. I think Mount's had a good season, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Martinelli's had a good season, and Mount. They both have been. I'd
say it's quite even, really. Mount has had a few sort of average games, but one thing about him is you can tell he really tries. Like I've sat Matthew Harding-Lower before, right by the corner flag, and you can just tell in his face he's just so focused. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's the same with
I'd say
Martinelli.
it's probably pretty much the same-ish.
Yeah, Martinelli's driven. Every time I'm thinking about Martinelli as well, I just love that celebration he did at Chelsea. He's just. Remember that?
We're not going to talk about that, Robbie, are we? So let's be non-biased here.
Sophie, what do you make of Newcastle now? Because obviously Chelsea were that team that Abramovich came in, spent loads of money, blew everybody out of the water when it comes to spending, got big players in. That's going to be Newcastle soon. They've got these Saudi.
Do you know what? And this sounds horrible, but I really like Newcastle as a team. Is that bad?
No, it's not. No, you can have a sort of a favourite other team, but I don't think you'll be liking them when they start getting the top players in.
Nah, but what
everybody likes them because we beat them.
Nah, you know what it is? I think whenever you go up to Newcastle and you go to one of these, I mean, I went this season. It's such a, I mean, we lost, but you can, all the fans around there, like when they score a goal, you can tell it actually, like the fans, like just push the team. Like it's crazy. It's one of the only heart and soul clubs that are out there. I think left.
Imagine what they're going to be like with a lot of money, and with that fan base, they're going to be a serious threat to everybody, aren't they?
Yeah, well, they're already protesting. When I went out, I was doing some work for Squawker, a video, and they were already banners everywhere. They're very, strong-minded, passionate fans. And I think when they get the money, when they get good players, that as well, I think that the fans of the 12th man, I think they'll be a very, very good team.
They're going to be dangerous. NJ Lucky says, Robbie, Ashley Cole recently said he left Arsenal when they're on a downward slope. Do you agree? Yes, I do agree.
I agree.
I saw what Ashley Cole said, and he was, I hate to say it, but he was right, and he was talking about how the winning mentality had gone and stuff like that. He was right. He was right. You can't, as much as we really have a go at him for leaving and that, you can say what he did after that is vindicated. Nexa says, Sophie, do you feel confident against the for the away match in the Champions League at the Allianz Arena? He says, by the way,
love you.
He loves
Thank
you.
Thanks.
Yeah, I was thinking, I'm talking like it's done and dusted, but you still got the second leg. That's the other thing, isn't it? You still got the second leg to play against Bayern Munich.
Yeah, I mean, haven't they scrapped it though?
No, they haven't scrapped. Not yet. They're not going to scrap the Champions League. There's too much money involved.
Okay, fine. I'm a bit behind.
You're hoping they do.
I think it's very rare for a team to win the Champions League and go and win it the year after and the year after. I think every time you play a game, it's completely different. I think what happened in the Allianz Arena in 2012 is going to be completely different to obviously any game we play. I think these will be a lot tougher. Bayern Munich are such a good team. So I will be nervous, of course. I won't be confident going into it. If that was that the question? No, I won't be confident. I'll be optimistic. Excited.
No chance. MGS443 says, Robbie and Sophie, who do you guys think was the biggest mistake in letting go, Mohamed Salah or Serge Gnabry? Or for me, he said it's De Bruyne. That's it. I mean, we let go Serge Gnabry, and he's possibly the best player in Germany right now. And you Salah, De Bruyne. I think the thing is, the Serge Gnabry thing is that Arsenal did want to keep him. They didn't want to sell him. He'd gone on loan to West Brom. He had a very unhappy time. They got injured, just came back from injury, and Arsenal wanted to sign him to a new deal. But he was like, "I want to play football right now." And
I think that's what I mean, though. A lot of it's winning mentality, isn't it? They want to win, they want to play, and in that case, you wouldn't be at a team like Arsenal. And that's not. I'm not trying to bash you. I'm just saying that you as fans deserve a lot more than what that club gives you. Yeah.
You are bashing.
No. I'm sticking up for you.
We don't need your help. Because
I think you do.
I know you. You're not sticking up for us. You're digging.
No, I'm genuinely saying that they should you know, the board should be more strict with the manager. The board should be more strict with everyone should be more strict, and you would win a lot more. You know, you would say, listen, you need to play play well, or you're off.
Unknown Driller says, ask Sophie if she hates Jose Mourinho for going to Spurs.
No, I don't hate Mourinho. Obviously, I don't like any manager that goes to Spurs. But the thing is with Mourinho, and what a lot of Chelsea fans don't understand is, he practically got sacked the first time. You know, he left. You know, let's put it that way. The second time he comes back, all the players kick a massive fuss because it's completely different now. You know, you don't have the Frank Lampards and the John Terrys so much anymore. You have the Paul Pogbas and players with massive egos who ain't going to listen to a manager that's as strict as Jose Mourinho. We sacked him again. He gets booed sometimes when he comes back to the bridge, and then you want Chelsea. We expect him to be loyal to us. He gave us Premier League titles. It's crazy to me that people bash Mourinho. But am I at White Hart Lane buzzing, like cheering him on? Obviously not. But you know.
So you don't hate on him. You look on it. You just think about the good times that he brought to the club. Yeah,
of course, the good times, the titles. How good a manager he was. He was great with the fans. I actually seen him in the gym once. I was like, I love you. And he was like, it's nice, isn't it?
You know what? There's been a few people that have sort of met him outside of the football, because he obviously he can be a real
no, in football I think I'd actually want to like punch him in the face.
Yeah, outside of football there's a few people that I know have met him and they're like, hey Robbie, unfortunately I have to have, he was a very, very nice person.
So I mean, you know how it is.
Trent Singh says, ask Sophie what her favourite Don Robbie dub meme is. Also, London is red. Have you seen any of those? I'm always getting memes.
No.
Oh, good. Don't bother watching.
I'll have to have a search, Rob.
There was one there was one here where they were asking, they were sort of doing, I can't find it now, but they're doing a comparison on Arteta and Lampard. Very similar in a way, in that two managers that both played for the club. Obviously, Lampard a lot more successful. But two managers, young managers, up and coming managers, both played for the club and now in charge of two very big clubs. Lampard, you happy with him? What have you happy that Lampard's in charge?
Yeah, I'm really happy with Lampard. I think it would have been brilliant if he stayed at Derby and he took them to the next level and went up that way. I would have loved to have seen him come to Chelsea at a bit of a later date. But no, I think he's done a really good job. The only thing that worries me, obviously, is that I think a lot of managers, when they come to Chelsea, think they're going to get a lot of players they want, and it doesn't really happen that way. And then there becomes a bit of friction, and the next thing you know, they've parted ways, they've been sacked, whatever. So that worries me a little bit. But I'm happy with what he's done. I don't think any Chelsea player. The only reason we started getting a bit annoyed towards the end of the season, we were playing so badly, is because we actually started a lot better than what we thought. If Frank had got us top 7 and we were at a steady pace, everyone would have been like, yeah, sound for this season. We've got no players. But because we were sort of top 3 and have declined a little bit, that's, I think, when we got a bit annoyed. But no, I think he's done a great job with the circumstances, for sure.
I knew this one was going to come. So Mary says, Robbie and Sophie, please name your all-time Premier League 11 composed of Arsenal and Chelsea players. Oh, I thought it was going to be a recent one. Much love from Dubai. Well, what we should do, should we do a combined 11 now based on the teams?
Yeah.
Now, right? So
now.
So we do a combined 11 based on the teams now. So in goal, Leno.
I'm not a massive fan, but okay.
Right.
I'm not disagreeing with you there.
Right back.
Dave, for sure, Dave.
Oh, Aspilicueta.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
Who were you going to say?
No, I'll give you Aspilicueta. No, let me write them down. So I did this the other day. You know what? I had a.
He ain't even been that good this season, but he's still the better option, I think.
Yeah, I did this the other day with a Leicester fan, man, and it was about only 3 Arsenal players in the team.
Oh.
I did it with Man United, and we had a lot more. So it shows you how much Leicester. Yeah. But in goal, we got Leno. All right, so Aspilicueta right back, or Dave. Yeah, call him Dave, man. Because
have you got a good left back in there? Because I don't really want to say any of ours.
Left back Saka.
Okay.
He's been excellent this season. Centre backs.
We've got some good centre backs in there. Then
you've got
We've got Rudiger. We've got Christensen. Although I probably wouldn't put
Yeah, Rudiger's definitely in there. He's a good player. I rate him.
I like Rudiger. Are we talking about just this season gone or just the current
This season, we're basing it off of this season. So Rudiger, can I make a David Luiz?
No. Robbie, come on now, my friend.
He has picked up since Arteta's come in. He has actually picked up, actually. But yeah. All right, so Rudiger and who?
Let me have a think. Let me have a think here.
We'll go back to centre back. All right, we're going to play. What should we play?
I like Tomori, but he's not really played, so.
All right. Yeah, actually, I'll put him in there. He's been. We haven't.
He's good, but he's not really played. They're not playing him enough.
It's still been. I can't think of.
There's one player I'm forgetting. Who am I forgetting? Robbie. I think I've gone crazy because it's been so long stuck inside. I can barely remember who manager of Chelsea is.
All right, we'll come back to there because Rudiger's. So we're going to play 3 in the midfield, yeah.
Yeah,
so
Kante.
Hold it, yeah, Kante. Can't argue with that.
He hasn't even played that much. He's been injured, but still, he's going in there.
All right, Kante. Midfield.
You've got some good midfielders.
Yeah, they haven't really excelled this season.
Well, no, but that's the hard thing. Somebody asked me the other day who was Chelsea's best player, and I was not really one.
I'm trying to be honest with it. I suppose you'd have to put Mount in there, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I'd put Mount in there. Yeah,
you'd have to put Mount in there, and I think, to be fair, what's his name again? What's the?
Kovacic has been very good.
Yeah, I think he's had a good. He's played well, hasn't he?
He's been very good.
You'd have to put Kovacic in there. Our midfield's not really been great this season. Up front now, Aubameyang down striker.
Well, yes, please, yeah.
Yeah, definitely gonna put Aubameyang in there. Pepe.
Yes.
Our
up front really ain't been great, so.
Oh, I'll put Martinelli in there as well. So
yeah, because you know what though, I would put Tammy in there, but he sort of slid towards the last part of the season, so.
Yeah. So we just need another centre back. I think Christensen. Our centre backs they ain't been very good, man.
I'm forgetting a key player here. What is wrong with me? No, it's not Christensen. What is wrong with me?
Who's your 2 centre backs?
Dave.
Somebody will tell her.
Yeah, Christensen. Okay, go on then. Put Christensen in for now because he had
Zuma.
a few games for
Zuma.
No, not really been that great.
All right.
He started off shaky, got a bit better. It's been a bit average, to be honest. Go on, put Christensen in, yeah. All
right, so the team is Leno in goal, Azpilicueta, Rudiger, Christensen, and Saka. Then a midfield of Kante, Kovacic, and Mount. And up front, Pepe, Aubameyang, and Martinelli. So that's Chelsea players in there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 5 Arsenal players. So that's what I'm saying.
Even.
Huh? That's what I was saying earlier. It is fairly even between the two teams. Yeah. Obviously you guys are higher up in the league than us, but I think a lot of that was to do with the fact that Emery was managing at first, and it was an absolute all over the place. Arsenal.
Yeah.
Since Arteta's come in, I mean, I suppose we could have an argument for. Oh, you missed that Reece James. Everyone's telling you. You're like,
yeah, Reece? I think it's Reece. Is it Reece? Yeah, no, it must be.
But Reece has been playing.
I'm getting a bit crazy. Sorry, guys. I'm saying the worst presenter ever, but.
So you play at left back?
Yeah, Reece was Reece. Well, Frank's moved them around a little bit, to be honest.
Yeah,
our left back situation, we've had Emerson, then we've had Alonso. But Alonso, the reason I didn't put him in there is because he's better as a wing back.
Yeah.
And I thought we were talking about full back, so I didn't put Alonso in there for that reason.
Okay. Akash says, "Hey Sophie, what are your thoughts on the current state of Chelsea and the team since Drogba, Lampard, and Terry, etc. left?"
I think we've still been a good team. I think we've still been a top team, but obviously, do we have like that main leader, that main heart and soul in the team? No, and I'm sure a lot of teams feel like that over the years. You know, football's changed over the years, and that's, you know, a lot of it's due to money. And the industry itself has brought that on themselves by paying ridiculous wages and, you know, all these sorts of things. It's just different different era, isn't it? So
yeah. Alexander says, Sophie, when will Chelsea build their new stadium? Arsenal and Tottenham have done it. West Ham went to the London Stadium.
no, it won't happen.
It won't happen.
20 years time? 10 years,
10
20 years
years.
time? Yeah.
I thought they had the go ahead to build it and everything.
Yeah, I don't think Roman scrapped the plans though, didn't he?
Is it?
Like more or less officially, yeah. He sort of put it on hold,
Why?
and then I think now it's sort of been scrapped more or less.
Why? I thought you guys were desperate for that new stadium.
Yeah, but then I'm not sure what happened. Something happened with Roman, didn't it? I don't know what. And it sort of all went a bit sour, I think. And then, it's a big, huge project, isn't it? It's cost a lot of money. So you'd have to be obviously getting something back out of it. I don't know. I don't know what happened there. It's not been built. Huh?
He's got it.
Well, I think I'm happy with it staying how it is. I didn't like the new. It looked all right, but I love Stamford Bridge the way it is, so I'm happy.
Yeah. Trust me, it's not always the be all and end all moving to a new stadium.
Nah.
We can definitely tell you that. I think Tottenham are about to find out about having a new stadium as well. It's it's all the expenses and the money that goes with it hampers the players you can buy on the pitch.
Yeah.
David JC says, wasn't Abramovich also hit big time by the 2008 crash? And also when he took over, his money was unparalleled. That changed with Manchester City and other clubs, not to mention the price of players these days. So it has got a bit harder for Abramovich.
Yeah, I think with Man City has anyway. I think Man City just got endless amounts of money, and that sort of changed the dynamic. And that's why I have sort of a lot of respect for Liverpool, because I think what they've done is just brilliant. I think, yes, they spent a lot of money, but they've also kept the faith in a manager who, didn't win something at first and has managed to build a brilliant team. So, yeah, I don't really know what to say about that. I'm not too knowledgeable about all that stuff.
A lot of people, by the way, arguing in the chats about as this guy, they're going back and forth, Arsenal fans and Chelsea fans. Aquino says Pulisic over Pepe. And then
but the only reason I couldn't put Pulisic in there because he's been injured.
Yeah, he hasn't played enough, has he?
No, he started off shaky. I don't think he was in favour of the managers. Got really good and then got injured.
Yeah. This guy says Arsenal Europa League and they can't even win it. That one hurt last year, man. Trust me, we should have won that. That was one of the performances I think that hastened the departure of Unai Emery, because
that wasn't a very good performance, Rob.
We weren't up for it. Did you go to it? Did you go? I can't remember.
No, you know what? I don't want people to think I just, fucked off to Vegas for summer. I mean, I did, but I didn't go to the Europa League final purely out of principle. I would have loved to have gone. I go to the European games all the time. I went to Lille this year. I've been to places that aren't even, big stadiums. I've been to Genk. I've been to Slovenia for Maribor. I didn't go because the amount they were charging fans to get over there and the packages were just complete and utter rubbish. It was ridiculous. Like, I'm not being. That's just a rip-off to everybody. It's very insulting. So I didn't go. I watched it in a bar full of Arsenal fans, and they didn't like me, but whatever.
I wonder what happens, right? When everything is over with this coronavirus, whether they're going to start having more respect for fans and not doing stuff like that. Because to me, that was one of the biggest disrespect you could give to football fans. Disgusting. Actually, in Baku, it was disgusting, wasn't it? I mean,
disgusting.
And it was nothing. It was nothing to do with the Baku itself as a city. It was a nice city.
No,
it's just that you shouldn't be holding a final there.
Well, I was saying it's not just the flight over there and the ticket. It's the food when you're over there, the hotel when you're over there. That's easy just for a couple of days, 2-3 grand more maybe, and people just say money don't grow on trees, does it?
No, it's very expensive. This guy says, Robbie, thanks for inviting her, and she has massive respect for Arsenal fans, but we don't like Chelsea due to rivalism. Ask her, what do you like about Giroud? And what do you like about Giroud?
In
a new deal,
I thought Giroud was good. I've got no complaints. I just don't think he ever really fit in properly. And, you know, he came to Chelsea very late on in his career, really. So, yeah, yeah, he's all right. Cool.
This guy also said, thoughts on Giroud. Our fans dislike him after what he said about us after the final. What is his status with Chelsea fans? Chelsea fans seem to like him, though, don't they? I don't think I don't think Arsenal fans hate on Giroud. They don't. Even after what he said, I don't think they hate.
I think he's a liked player in general. But yeah, I don't really have any thoughts towards him. I'd smile if I saw him in the street, you know.
Well, we're going to do the last couple now. We're running out of time on the show.
Yeah.
You see your room getting darker and darker and darker.
I know. What's going on there?
Oh, there's a little light there
now. I don't see my face no
more. But we're coming towards the end of the show anyway. Hello, Robbie and Sophie. Which team was better, the Arsenal Invincibles or Mourinho's 04-06?
I'm going to go Mourinho's.
Come off it. It's the Invincible team.
Nah, the Mourinho team was just amazing.
Lost one game. You didn't go.
I'm still going the Mourinho's. I'm still going the Mourinho side because I really enjoyed that era.
Worst memory of a Chelsea and Arsenal game. I know Robbie's. I thought about that 6-0.
What you think? Oh, together you mean? Sorry, I thought they just meant worst memory of a Chelsea game. Worst, but okay.
I think that 6-0 when we got that beat, that 6-0. I think I was supposed to check you after the game. I just disappeared, man. That was embarrassing.
When we lost 3-0 at the Emirates, that was a bad day.
Oh yeah. We played well.
That was the first time I ever walked out of a match early. That was.
Right. Let's get one more. Because we're right at the end. I'm trying to find out something that we haven't really answered yet. I'm trying to find something that we haven't really answered yet. Let me see. There's a lot of questions that are very similar that we've sort of answered already. Combined 11s again. What's your thoughts on Kante? You already asked that. You answered that. A lot of people bigging you up personally.
Thanks, guys.
Let me get that one's just disappeared. It was here. It is. Last question: Drogba or Henry?
I mean, I'm going to go Drogba because of the Champions League. Very few players could have ever done that.
What I always say to this one is, for me, it's Henry, definitely. But Drogba, you have to hand it to him. I've never known a player that turned up for big games like him.
Crazy,
he always scored in there. He always scored in cup finals.
Totally.
There was just something about him. He was a big time player. But if you're talking about over the whole period of time of the Premier League, has to be Henry for me. But Drogba he's up there because he scored so many big goals. So we finish that off with even.
Yeah, I like that. I like that question though. Thanks for having me on, Robbie. It's been a pleasure.
Well, listen, you disappeared. I can't even see you now. You're completely gone in darkness. There you go. I can see you again. Sophie, thanks for coming on, man. We have to get you back on again before this whole thing's over. Totally. And you know, it's always great to have you. Always great to talk to you. And
we hate Tottenham.
Definitely. And let's hope that you know, we can get some football back on soon. We won't actually play. We've already played each other twice this season, but it's just going to be interesting to see who is going to get into that top 4 this season.
Anything, any football will do.
Yeah, we get to find out if this season what colour it is. Is it red or is it blue?
We'll find out. Yeah.
Thanks, Sophie. Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Sophie Rose there, and of course we'll be back in the morning. Don't forget to check us out here at 10 o'clock.